The Mercedes-Benz midsize SUV has a new plug-in hybrid option for the US, and it boasts some pretty impressive figures. And no, we are not lacking any of the classic Mercedes luxury. Let's take a closer look. For the updated 2024 Mercedes, there is a new bumper for the GLE, but this particular model has the AMG line exterior package, which is $3,150. And that includes body-colored wheel archers, AMG wheels, and this star pattern grille right here with this not at all subtle tri-star right in the center. I think it's a cool look. I like the patterns. I like the three-dimensional aspect to it. And I do like these horizontal slots baked into the centerpiece right here. Chrome in the center with polished metal otherwise. Plus, we do have this chrome down here as part of the lower bumper. More interesting patterns part of this lower grille. And then there's a lot of width here. You can see it just expands all the way out. And we have this nice lower piece right here. All in all, it's a cool look. I think it matches these nice headlights pretty well and has, you know, a pretty strong stand-up presence to it. But as nice as the front end is to look at, I'm much more curious to see what's under the hood. And there is your plug-in hybrid powertrain. It is longitudinally mounted or fore aft like this, which is nice to see. This is a big SUV, and yet that is a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder engine right there. But of course, it does get help from an electric motor. So total horsepower is actually 381 and 479 pound-feet of torque. Those are actually very healthy numbers. And check this out. The center line of the front axle is right about here. So not only is this a small engine, much of it is actually after the center line of the front axle. So weight balance of this SUV is pretty darn good. Now, a lot of it is covered in plastic, but you can see the turbo is on this side here, and we have some really interesting vent work coming up on either side here. Really fascinating stuff. The battery terminals are here for ground, here for positive, and windshield washer fluid goes right here. Looking at the SUV in profile, you do get a better sense of how big this thing really is. You also get a better look at the diamond white metallic paint, which is a $1,750 optional color. There is also a fair amount of chrome on here. We've got just a tiny bit of chrome just above these lights here in the side view mirror covers. We have chrome window trim right here. Yeah, that's more of a polished metal, but the upper parts of the door handles are definitely chrome. Then we've got polished metal up here for the roof rails, and then more polished metal down here for the running boards. So it's a really interesting mix of white, chrome, and then polished metal in different places. But then look at the B-pillar. That's pretty stark black right there. And then you have a heavily tinted rear window here after the C-pillar. So the contrasts here are pretty stark. Oh, and black on the lower side view mirror cover as well. Here is a better look at those body-colored wheel arches that I was talking about and the AMG wheels. I will talk about those more in just a second. And I will go ahead and put the dimensions up on the screen for you to check out and let you know that I have a lot more information in the description. Standard wheels on the Mercedes-Benz GLE 450e are 19-inch wheels, but this car is optioned with 21-inch AMG multi-spoke wheels. But it's November in Michigan, so at the moment, this car is actually wearing 20-inch AMG wheels. So kind of interesting how one window sticker can run the gamut almost. These are 20-inch wheels. They look plenty big to me, and it's pretty impressive that we still have 50 series tires here. We have a decent hunk of sidewall, even though we're going 20s. But if you want more wheel, you can go up to 21s in the GLE 450e. And at least for Michigan in the winter, this is a square setup. The wheels in back are the same size as the wheels in front. You might have seen it in the profile shot of this car, but here is a closer look at these illuminated brushed aluminum running boards. These are a $650 option. The illumination is right under here, but during the day, it's awfully hard to see. Looking at the car in back, pretty decent looking vehicle, if I'm honest. I do really like this chrome horizontal piece connecting the taillights on either side. I like this much more tastefully sized TriStar right there. GLE 450e, that's your plug-in hybrid clue right there. 4matic, just like every GLE that there is sold today. And then when you go down, we get more contrast to the black and then more chrome down here. Yes, this has a $600 trailer hitch mounted on it, and Mercedes says that the GLE will tow 7,700 pounds. That's a pretty darn healthy number. But on either side of that, my big pet peeve, these right here are completely fake. Completely fake. They don't even have an opening right there. They end right there. It is a dual exhaust tip setup, but the real exhaust tips are under there on either side, there and there. It's such a shame because it's so unnecessary. I think it would look cleaner without these in the first place, and then the exhaust tips could be exactly where they are. Anyway, there is a lot of space inside. We should check that out. You get 32 cubic feet of storage behind the second row, and nicely carpeted and styled, and the rest. You do have a couple of hooks on either side and some rings down low to help hold things in place if you wish. And yes, if you need more room for storage but don't need to carry people, that is incredibly easy to do, but it's not incredibly easy to do for free. This GLE is optioned with the $1,200 power folding second row seats, so it actually has interesting articulation and does more than just fold up and down, but they do also fold up and down. Buttons are right here. And there you go. Just like that, you have 75 cubic feet of storage and room for two. And I would say plenty of room for my bicycle, but let's find out. Oh yeah, room to spare. No problem at all. This is a pretty big SUV. I didn't expect to have any trouble, but it's nice to see that you indeed do not. All right, let's check out the inside. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do actually is start the car because there's some electronics in the second row that I wanna show you. But before I even do that, check this out. We do have soft closing doors. Those are lovely. Those are not free. They're $550, but it is both the front and the rear doors that are soft close, so that part's nice. Also, I did pull my bike out, but I left the rear seats folded because there are more buttons to show you with these seats. They're right here. So you can lift the seat back up from this side, but now look at it. It's moving forward and articulating again. So if you want to carry space here, in between the second row and the cargo area, you can do that. You have this good, 8 to 10 inch drop right here. So if you want to carry more storage that's taller, you can do that here. So that's what I was talking about. It's not just power folding up and down. There's these interesting articulations that these seats will do as well. As you can see, we also have controls on the door to move these seats around. Moving the seat bottom, moving the seat back, and even the headrest. We also have heated seats for the second row. Those are a $500 option on the Mercedes GLE 450e. I am 5 feet 11 inches or 181 centimeters tall, and as you can see, I have plenty of knee room, but the seat bottom is a touch on the low side for an SUV this size. Thigh support's pretty good, but it's not ideal. I would love just a touch more height, but I'm only being picky because this is an otherwise very comfortable in the second row SUV. It is a Mercedes and it is not cheap. By the way, I do have headroom as well, and that is despite a $1,000 panoramic piece of glass on the roof right here, and I will show you more of that in just a moment. But the real reason why I turned the car on at first was to show you that we also have the $860 four-zone climate control system right here, so you can see that we have that on either side, and beneath that we also have 2 USB Type-C charge ports right there. Combine that with the heated seats, there's a lot of comfort to be had back here. And of course, we do also have an armrest with cup holders, so yeah man, life is good. We do have even more controls on the front door. Of course, controls right here, 3-position seat memory, heated and ventilated seats right here. We also have massaging seats. We have the usual controls right here. We also have fuel door and the latch right there. Nice metal Mercedes kick plate right there. And a few controls to the left of the steering wheel as well, including your electric park brake right there. Currently showing 96% charge for the 23.3 kilowatt hour battery pack, but when it was at 100% charge, it showed a rating of 51 miles for me. By the way, that is a 12.3-inch widescreen center console touchscreen, and right next to it is another 12.3-inch fully digital instrument cluster, and just above that is a head-up display. Now, the digital instrument cluster and center console touchscreen are standard, but the head-up display is not. That is part of the Pinnacle trim, and the Pinnacle trim includes a lot of things. So what I have is a copy of the window sticker, and I'm just gonna read what the Pinnacle trim offers. It's down here. It's $5,600. You get the Burnmeister sound system, augmented video for navigation, the ventilated front seats, the head-up display, multicolor front seats with massage. Yes, I do have massage. Heated and cooled front cup holders, the Mercedes-Benz user experience assistance, which I can prompt just by saying, "Hey Mercedes,
how may I help you?"
Set the temperature to 68 degrees.
I'm setting the temperature to 68 degrees.
I also have air balance, LED intelligent light system, and Mercedes star pattern logo projectors on the front doors. Yeah, lots of stuff. That's just the Pinnacle trim. These seats are also a nice and special leather. That is an extra $1,620. We also have $850 optional wood paneling with these stripes on it right here. It's called black piano lacquer with flowing lines, by the way. Now, the heated seats are actually standard, but going ventilated seats, that's part of the Pinnacle trim, along with the massaging. Another standard feature, we do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it is now wireless. We also have lots of controls on the steering wheel on both the left and the right side, and just above that, we do have paddle shifters, but those also adjust brake regen right here. There's multiple levels of that. And each screen is adjustable as well. So if I go home, you can see that I can choose between a lot of different screens to look at right here. Of course, I'm going to go with classic. And this side will adjust this screen right here, the center console touchscreen. And you can see that I have a lot of different options to choose from here. Lovely stuff. Beneath that, we do have several controls for the first two of the 4-zone climate control system. And below that, this is a wireless smartphone charger right here, and a couple of more USB ports right there. Here are my heated and cooled cup holders right there. We do also have a touchpad to play with this control system if we'd rather use that, and that has a couple of buttons built into that, and there's a few buttons built around that as well, including pushing this turns on and off the radio, and then you have volume control right there. This is just a nice little resting pad. We do also have lower center console storage with even more USB ports right here. Looking up, here we do have a few controls for the lights and an electric privacy panel for the $1,000 panoramic roof. Lovely. And the first half does actually open. Even lovelier. All right, let's talk drive modes. We have a dial down here, and we have several drive modes. They are off-road, battery hold, which will maintain your battery life and just run the engine full time. We also have electric, electric only, hybrid, general efficient way to go, sport, and individual. And as you can see, we can play with the engine, the steering, and the stability control system. We will spend most of our time in hybrid, but we will play around with the electric mode and the sport mode a little bit too, because why not? And speaking of drive modes, now is as good a time as any. Let's get back to the drive. This is a 2024 Mercedes-Benz GLE 450e 4matic.